I want to dive into one of the most debated topics in all of Warframe. The question of Endgame. What even is Endgame in Warframe? Because the answer isn't simple. You ask 10 Tenno, and they'll give you 10 different answers. Some people will say it's Steel Path. Some of the newer people that's just getting into what they think is Endgame will say it's arbitrations. And then some point to Archon Hunts. Others will laugh and say Fashion Frame is the real endgame. And then there are veterans who claim Warframe doesn't even have an endgame at all. Today I want to take a full deep dive into that debate, what counts as endgame, how rewarding it actually is, why players keep grinding it, and where the future might be headed. In most traditional games, endgame is easy to define. For example, in World of Warcraft has raids and Mythic Plus. Destiny has Nightfalls, Trials, and Raids. Diablo has Rifts. They all have activities locked behind the max level that are harder, require team coordination, and give exclusive loot. Warframe is different. We don't have raids anymore. Remember Law of Retribution and Jorda's Verdict? Those are long gone. Instead, Warframe offers a web of activities. Steel Path, arbitrations, Cuba farming, leeches, sisters, sorties, Zariman bounties, Archon hunts, even deep endurance runs like 3 to 4 hour survivals. The issue is that none of these really feel like a final destination. They're extensions of what you were already doing earlier in the game. Exterminate on Earth? Now it's Exterminate on Zariman. Defense on Saturn? Now it's Steel Path defense at level 200. It's the same foundation, just with higher enemy levels, more modifiers, and slightly better rewards. This design is both Warframe's strength and its weakness. The strength is freedom. You get to decide what's meaningful. Maybe for you, Endgame is building the perfect fashion setup for your Revenant Prime. For someone else, it's soloing a Steel Path Archon hunt in under 5 minutes. For another, it's hitting level cap and survival with a Kuvazar. The weakness? Without a shared definition, the community never really feels like it's pushing towards one unified endgame goal. We're all just doing our own thing. Now let's talk rewards, because this is where the debate really heats up. Warframe's grind is legendary, and not always in a good way. Take the Zariman itself. This tile set is absolutely gorgeous. Some of the best environmental art in the entire game. The music, the atmosphere, the lore, it's all top tier. But what are you actually here for most of the time? Void plums, arcanes, a handful of rare drops that require you to repeat the same bounties dozens of times? That is true across all in-game content. Arbitrations, you're farming Vitus Essence for mods you'll probably buy once and never use again. Archon hunts, you're grinding for shards, and then you have to pray the color and polarity you get actually fits your build. Leeches and sisters, it's an amazing concept, but once you farm your weapons, the motivation dries up. This is where Warframe's reward economy struggles. Too often, it feels like the effort outweighs the payoff. You sink hours into farming, and what you get at the end doesn't feel really worth it. Compare that to other games. Destiny raids give exclusive weapons and armor that completely change how you play. Diablo's rifts shower you in loot. In Warframe, you might run an hour Steel Path survival and walk away with Endo, or a Riven you don't even want. That said, there's still something addictive about it. Even when the rewards don't hit the mark, the core gameplay loop, fast movement, flashy abilities, insane weapon builds, keeps pulling you back. It's like DE designed Warframe, so the act of grinding itself is the reward. And for a lot of us, that's enough. And one of the biggest questions about Warframe's endgame is whether build diversity really exists. On paper, it looks like it does. Over 50 Warframes, hundreds of weapons, thousands of mod combinations, helmet subsumptions, arcanes, rivens. The possibilities should be endless. And then you step into Steel Path or Tier 5 Zariman. You start to notice patterns. Araxia everywhere, Revenant everywhere, Wisps, Nova, Octavia, maybe a Core or Nidus sprinkled in. On the weapon side, Most of the time, people got Kuvazars, Kuva Hex, Sobex. The Torrid is a huge one, Ladums, Finmore. It's the same rotation of meta favorites. Why? Because efficiency rules Warframe in-game. If you want to farm fast, if you want to survive hour-long endurance runs, you're going to have to use the most efficient tools available. And DE has a habit of buffing or introducing new gear that's insanely strong, which makes older gear feel irrelevant. But here's the interesting part. Warframe does still allow for creativity. You can take something weird and still clear high-level content. It just won't be as fast as spamming the Torrid. And for some of us, that's the real fun, making the off-meta shine. So is Warframe diverse, or is it meta-locked? Honestly, it's both. There's a meta, and most players will stick to it. But the sandbox is wide enough that if you want to break the mold, you absolutely can. That balance is part of why the game has lasted this long. So what about solo versus squad play? Now let's hit on something I think a lot of people underestimate. Warframe is technically a co-op game, but most of us spend huge amounts of time playing solo. Running Zariman bounties solo, like I'm doing here, has its perks. You move at your own pace, you test builds without being overshadowed by someone nuking the map, you control the flow. For me, solo play feels more rewarding because the success is all on you. That said, squad play has its strengths too. Farming resources, running long survivals, doing Eidolons or Profit Taker, those are faster and often more fun with a group. But even then, Warframe's design doesn't force you to play with others. You can experience nearly all content solo if you want. In a way, this dual identity is both a blessing and a curse. It's amazing for player choice, but it also makes balancing tricky. DE has to design content that's accessible solo and engaging in squads. And sometimes, like with certain bounties or defense missions, you can feel that tension. So where does Warframe go from here? What's the future? We know Plague Star 2025 is on the horizon. Aroxia just dropped and already shook up the meta. Davari still has room to expand with new circuit rotations. The problem is, all these are still grind loops. They're fun at first, but do they really solve the in-game question? What I love to see is content that rewards creativity and mastery, not just repetition. Imagine a mode where weird builds are encouraged, where enemies adapt to your meta loadout, so you're forced to switch things up. Or a true raid experience where 8 players actually need to coordinate, not just nuke everything instantly. There's also the question of rewards. If DE wants players to treat something as in-game, the rewards need to match the effort. That means exclusive cosmetics, unique mods, powerful weapons, not diluted drop tables or randomized RNG. And honestly, I think the community is ready for it. Warframe's player base is mature, and most of us have been around for years. We've farmed everything, crafted everything, formed everything. We want now is meaningful challenge, not just another layer of grinds. Here's the irony though. Even with all these criticisms, we keep playing. Why? Because the core gameplay is unmatched. Warframe feels like no other game. The speed, the parkour, the power fantasy, it's addictive. In-game doesn't need to be perfect because just moving through these missions, bullet jumping, slicing enemies in half, watching abilities blow up entire rooms, that's the reward. It's why even after thousands of hours, people still log in daily. And that's the magic of Warframe. It doesn't have traditional in-game, but it doesn't need it to keep us hooked. The grind, the builds, the constant updates, it all combines into a weird, chaotic, beautiful loop that keeps us coming back. So that's my full take while running through these tier 5 Zariman Exterminates. Warframe's endgame is whatever you make it. For some people, it's steel path level cap runs. For others, it's hunting Rivens or building the ultimate fashion frame. For me, it's about testing builds and seeing how far I can push them in content like this. What do you think? Does Warframe actually have a true endgame? Or are we all just endlessly grinding in circles? Drop your thoughts down below. I love to hear your perspective. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that sub button for Warframe breakdowns, guides, and discussions. I've got more coming soon, and trust me, you don't want to miss it. and I'll catch you guys in the next video. See ya.